Iowa lineman, Jennings Dunker. Check out this beauty.
Somebody's going to get a stud.
Dude, he looks like a Clydesdale. I mean, just look at it. The hair, the mustache, the knee braces.
He does look like a Clydesdale. That's
it's
hilarious.
Unbelievable. Like if
He's a majestic man right there.
If you were going to design an offensive lineman in a laboratory, this is what he would look like. I mean, look at this guy.
This is hilarious. How many beers a day do you think this guy drinks?
Probably by the case. He doesn't even count them by the beer.
That is great. Talking about Jennings Dunker, the Kelsey brothers. Congratulations to Travis, by the way. June 13th is going to be special. No doubt about it. But it's Altitude Football, and it's myself and Chad Brown. And Chad, are you coming to us from the cruise?
I am coming to you from my cabin right outside. Let me get my arm situated. That window back there is the Atlantic Ocean, my friend.
That is so crazy. Why don't you explain what you're doing if anybody doesn't know?
All right. Here we go.
I love it.
So, yes, I am a Steeler legend.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
They put together a cruise pretty much every single year. This is the 10th annual Steeler Legends Cruise.
Awesome.
And so we get a chance to schmooze with 400 paying Steeler guests. So we don't take up most of the ship, but there's a pretty good portion of the ship that are here for this Steeler event. And it's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. I just left a VIP meet and greet, chance to take some pictures with some Steeler fans and talk a little football.
You're the best. Thank you for carving out some time for this, and you are the best. And we won't keep you too long, but we are here live. So if anybody has any questions or comments, especially about the combine, and thought that was a CBC Survivor poster. Okay, don't know what that is. But yeah, anything with this that you want. Listen, there's a lot of time on Altitude to talk about all sorts of other stuff, and we do. But at 6 o'clock, it's football. It is. Mm-hmm. And for those who don't know and are relatively new to what we're doing, we're going to talk football at 6 o'clock, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And it's myself and Chad. So like and subscribe. And don't worry, there's plenty of talk about the Avs and the Nuggets. And you can watch DMac Smack or watch any of our shows on Altitude and get plenty of that. But for us, it's about football, football, football. And in particular, the combine. Chad, I've got a couple guys that are on my list for the Broncos that I was impressed by. And maybe the easiest way is just to look at some of the 40s. And here you see Kenyon Sadiq, and what a show he put on over the weekend. But number 3 there is Eli Stowers, from Vanderbilt. And Vandy had a pretty good year in football this year there, Chad. How familiar I'll work backwards. How familiar are you with Stowers?
I like Stowers quite a bit. I think he is a better blocker than Sadiq, so he gives the defense a little bit more to think about if he's going to be on the field. Sadiq at this point is more of a glorified receiver, doesn't offer a whole lot in the blocking game. I think he's willing, just not as good as Stowers is. And so I think either one of those guys would be a great fit. But if you want to be the true joker where the defense doesn't know what to expect, then I think Stowers fits that mold better than Sadiq.
Would you be comfortable taking him at 30?
Yes. And
okay,
if the Broncos hadn't been in the championship game last year and the rest of their roster wasn't as proven as it is, I probably would say no. But for this Broncos team, there's very few holes to fill. And so if you can instantly upgrade your tight end room, get a guy who can present a run and a pass threat to the defense and opens up the offense for the rest of Sean Payton's plays and the rest of these Bronco playmakers, then it doesn't seem as far of a reach as it would be if this team was missing 5 or 6 positions. They're really only missing 1 on this football team right now.
How did Stowers get my attention? Well, he did this. That is 45-5. I mean, are you freaking kidding me for a guy who's 6'4" already?
That's the kind of matchup nightmare this guy is. And so his ability to elevate over anybody who's taking him on, he's going to run past most linebackers, and he can body most defensive backs. And plus, he can be a true red zone threat and can be your jump ball guy, your 50-50 ball guy in those situations as well. He's a complete package. He's just not as athletic as Sadiq, but I think he's a better football player right now.
I gotcha. I got you with Sadiq. I mean, Sadiq is sick.
Simulcam, who's got it? What do we have?
Is Bijan going to pull this out? Oh, my gosh.
No, it's Kenyon
Oh,
Sadiq.
my gosh.
Get out of here.
That's Sadiq outrunning Bijan Robinson and Christian McCaffrey. I mean, there was ridiculous stuff with Sadiq. I mean, I got some more here. The metrics for Sadiq, Chad, were just, I mean, it was insane stuff. I mean, dude, look at that. 4.39, 43.5, 11.1. What the fuck? And he looks like that. I mean, this is not a small guy.
It is bananas how athletic these guys are. But, you know, we fall in love with these guys based on their combine numbers. Show us you are a football player. And certainly he had a lot of success. And there's a reason why he's listed as the #1 tight end, is because he is so athletic and was so productive for Oregon. But there's more to it than just these combine numbers. There's more to it than just what you're able to do at the college level. How can you grow your game in the NFL? How can you maximize your weaknesses? At this point, he's not as productive as a blocker as you would think when somebody's got those kind of biceps, triceps, and deltoids on display on that picture right there.
And his numbers compared to Brock Bowers are, I mean, you know, similar, almost identical size, faster, more explosive. And Brock Bowers is great. Bigger hand size, bigger, not bigger arm length. Maybe it's because he's too yoked up in the chest. He can't actually spread his arms all the way. It might be something like that. But again, you know, playing in a big time program at Oregon and having been a teammate with Bo, listen, this is not it. This is a non-issue. If he's still there at 30, you take, there's nothing to think about. Okay, that's nothing. The question is, are you okay with, like, say, Stowers, if you were okay with him, or if Sadiq is hanging in there, Chad, at 21, 22, 23, are you getting a little fidgety if you're the Broncos, knowing this isn't crazy to move up to get him?
I can understand where you're coming from with that. Again, maybe it's because I'm so old school. Maybe because I view the game through a defensive lens. I love a tight end on the field who doesn't give me a defender, who I am uncertain whether it's going to be run or pass. And at least initially, in Sadiq's first couple of years, he would be a tell. Whereas I think Stowers comes on and he instantly can be that kind of guy where defensively, I don't know what's going to happen with this next snap because he's on the field. So, but to your point, for a guy that athletic, that skilled, it would be up to Sean Payton and his coaching staff to turn him into a true 3-down tight end, because the skill is there, the size is there, the body is certainly there as well. So if you were to move up to 21 or 23 or 25 if you needed to get this guy, I think to your point, yeah, I think you make it happen just because of the upside is just so huge.
We will go into other players that caught my attention and get Chad's feedback on all of it. But first, our friends at Journey Spice bring it all to you. And even on a cruise ship, it would taste delicious. I mean, it's incredible packaging. You can use it on a wide variety of meals. And it comes in the best of all packages, not plastic, recyclable. And what's so cool is that you can see right through the new packaging. Anna and Rosa have new packaging where you can actually see the ingredients just in the packaging, which is fantastic. I love this, guys. You guys are the best. Chad, you're on a cruise, so I don't know what would go better. You're probably not cooking while you're there, I would assume.
As much as I love to cook, I am not. But let's say the dinner tonight, it could have used some Journey Spice. That would have made it a little bit more tasty.
Well, here's this comment. Moving up for a tight end, oof. I get it. I do get it. I'm just telling you, if Sadiq is that quirky and unusual, and we've been looking for that guy, and you know, Evan Engram, I mean, nice enough dude, but you know, That ain't going nowhere. Troutman is actually a free agent. I don't know where that's going to go with Adam Troutman. This has been a position of need for the Broncos for quite a while, Chad, for a couple of years now. And they just have never really pushed on it. And, hey, I got you. You drafted Noah Fant in the first round. And, he's a decent NFL player. He's still in the league to this day. But he doesn't have the first-round impact. I get it. If you're going to get a guy like that, it's got to be highly impactful. So let me ask you, would you be better off at a very solid position like an inside linebacker at 30, or would you roll the dice on wide receiver, running back, tight end at number 30 in the first round? Where's your head at right now?
I understand where Aussie Talks NFL is coming from, because that's not a traditional draft move. But again, this Broncos team is in a different situation than most of those teams are going to be drafting in, say, the top 15, where they've got a number of needs, and they're literally going to get the best player available that could, fill one of those numerous needs. The Broncos don't have numerous needs. And so when you got a situation like the Broncos have, where most of your positions are fully stacked up and most of your contracts are in a good place, you're not losing a ton of guys, then you can go specifically for a need. But that need is a position that is becoming more and more valuable in the NFL. Again, look at the success of the Rams with their 2 and 3 tight end sets. Look at the Seahawks. They just won a Super Bowl with a lot of 2 tight end sets. When you have talented tight ends who can catch the ball and can be really good run blockers, you can dictate to a defense with that position in a way that other positions don't influence the defense in that same way. So for Sean Payton, who's a really good playmaker or play caller and likes to dictate to the defense, this could be that move that would give him the ultimate, trump card, for lack of a better word, where he could put the defense in a no-win situation. Oh, you want to go base? We'll throw the ball. You want to go nickel? We'll run the ball. No matter what you choose, you'll be wrong because we have this player at this position who can make you wrong every time.
We have a great salesperson at the radio station, Brandon Evans, who I consider a really good friend. We got a thick drawl from Arkansas, and he loves Arkansas football, the whole thing. I was yelling at him today because I don't understand why his team sucks so bad. And he just told me we had no defense, DMac, because there's 2 guys from Arkansas, Chad, that are like catching my attention. We'll start with their quarterback, Taylon Green. I'm sorry, you're 6'6" and you just ran a 4.36. What the fuck was that? Are you kidding me? Okay, that's interesting. And then I looked at Taylon Green's film, and I was just like, oh, he's just got to be a run around sort of. No, kind of a pocket passer who runs if he has to, but kind of just stands in the pocket at 6'6" and just throws the ball all around the field. Who's he handing the ball off to? Mike Washington Jr., who ran a 4.33. I'm like, oh, small, skinny guy. No, 6'1" and change, 225, a bulldozer that was averaging 6 yards a carry. First of all, Chad, how the hell did Arkansas not have a better year? And I talked to Brandon. He goes, hey, Mac, we lost every game like 41-35. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. But no wonder we haven't been talking about these guys because Arkansas sucked. But these 2 dudes, Chad, my goodness gracious, talk to me about Green and by Mike Washington.
Physical freaks. Bruce Feldman puts out his physical or physical freaks or freaks list or whatever it is, beginning of the college football season every year. Those guys definitely fall into that category. The size, speed, weight ratio is off the charts for both those guys. I think the quarterback obviously needs some polish.
Of course.
Somebody's going to take a flyer on him because of the athletic skill set.
I want the Broncos. Hey, I want the Broncos to take a flyer on him because I think Stidham is gone, and I hope he is gone. We've gone as far as we can with Jarrett Stidham, Chad, okay, in my opinion. And Darren Muji of the Jets, who used to be with the Broncos, maybe he's got a little wiggle room there for Stidham, and maybe Stiddy wants to go. But that ain't going to be the ticket. Listen, it's Bo Nix all the way. Don't get me wrong. But don't you think Sean Payton may be interested in some guy who might be kind of like Taysom Hill? Maybe.
That's an interesting question because when you want your backup quarterback, are you looking for a guy who's just like your starter, but just not as good? Or are you looking for a guy who could completely changes everything for the defense? The defense is obviously going to prepare for Bo Nix. And Bo Nix goes down, suddenly they got to deal with a guy who runs a 4.3 40, and Sean is calling all kind of zone quarterback reads and just lighting the defense up that's completely unprepared. That seems like a direction I would be interested in going because I know what that does to a defense rather than, oh, they're going to put Jarrett Stidham in the game. He's not going to be as good as Bo Nix, but it's exactly the same offense. Nothing's going to change. I'd go with the wild card and go with the quarterback who runs a 4.3.
Plus, what if this guy gets – I looked into him, man. 19 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. But I'll make the case that, first of all, he comes from Boise State. Now he's at Arkansas. Like, he's still developing, man. And he's probably going to grow into his body a hell of a lot more at 6'6". The athleticism is stupid, okay? Can't coach that, and he's already got it. But then I was surprised to see that he wasn't just like a chicken with his head cut off running back, that there was a pocket presence with this guy and obviously a gargantuan arm. So I think maybe a lot of his mistakes probably came because they were losing a lot of games. I mean, I'm just taking a guess. I haven't watched Arkansas. I know you have, but I'm just going to guess they were just losing a lot. Well, that's going to be mistakes. And maybe 19 touchdowns to 11 interceptions, Chad, in all honesty, is pretty damn good considering the team was pretty damn bad.
I didn't watch much Arkansas this year. I saw them as I was preparing to watch or call other games that they were opponents to. So I don't have a good breakdown. But I will say, again, I think my point about having a quarterback as your backup who comes in with that kind of skill set, the disruption it does to a defense that's not prepared for that is really could be a game changer. That could win you a football game rather than, the traditional route of, let's go with Jarrett Stidham. He's not as good as Bo Nix, but he can run the offense. Well, then if it's not as good as Bo Nix, then what are we doing? Why not present the defense with a whole different thing? This guy comes to the game, things change instantly. We have no answers for that. We haven't practiced it. We're not prepared for it. We're blowing assignments right and left because they're doing things that we never saw Bo Nix do.
And by the way, 2 years in a row now, the Broncos have rostered three quarterbacks, and we kind of said why, but okay. If you want to get a Bo clone, get the third string guy, which I think is like Sam Ellinger right now, who's a midget, by the way. Sorry, I don't. Can I use that frame? He's small, he's short, and for me to call somebody short is that's something. I would know short. Let's talk running backs. And I'm a big fan of Jarian Price as well, Chad. Jeremiah Love, of course, is going to go top 10, so that ain't going to be a thing. But can you get Mike Washington in the second round?
I think you can. I think you can. And I like Jam Miller from Alabama as well. I've called a number of his games over the last couple of years. I think he's a guy, doesn't have the same, 9/900ths of a second slower.
Yeah, that's great. Great name, too. Jam Miller. Oh, my God. That is awesome.
He was used in the passing game and in the run game for Alabama. I like him quite a bit. So there's a number of quality backs there. But let's not forget, running back is more than just your 40 speed. Terrell Davis was not a 4.3 or even a 4.4 guy.
You're right, of course.
He's probably high 4.5s. TD didn't blow you away with his, his twitchiness. He blew you away with his contact durability and contact balance, his ability to run tough through the front seven and then shift in a high gear in the secondary. So in the speed position, there's a number of those guys on that list who I think could help the Broncos.
Yeah, I think and I was looking for size too here, Chad, not only speed, but Mike Washington, like I said, is 6'1" and change, 225 and probably could get bigger, right? It's going to be fast because that's what RJ Harvey isn't. I like RJ Harvey. He's fine, but, J.K. Dobbins, moving on. He's just going to get hurt anyways. But can you imagine a room that is Travis Etienne, Mike Washington Jr., and R.J. Harvey? Chad, give me a break.
Ooh.
Right? Like,
wow,
let's go.
Now you got some weapons. Got some weapons. You can run the ball with power. You can run the ball outside. And you can catch the ball and threaten. If you leave those guys on the field and they want to go with base, all those guys can beat a linebacker in one-on-one pass routes. All of them.
All of them.
Suddenly, you've got mismatches all over the field.
Yeah, that's my ideal room at this point. And by the way, it doesn't have to be Mike Washington. But it has to be one of those dudes in the draft. And then you have so much money, Chad. All right, the Broncos lost out on David Montgomery today. He got traded for a fifth, the seventh, an offensive lineman, and I think a fifth came back, something like that. And he goes to Houston. A big miss, not a miss, no big deal. Big deal that the Broncos weren't in on David Montgomery.
David Montgomery's been incredibly productive. I think there's a very short list of backs in the last 3 seasons who have over 2,500 total yards, and he's one of them. So he's extremely productive. But again, the running back position, you can find lots of guys who can be productive. And again, in the end, I don't think you need one guy with all the skill sets. You just need all those skill sets represented in your room. And the list that you gave earlier, suddenly you've got mismatches no matter who's on the field, and it allows you to do things to the defense that they probably won't have answers for.
All right, we'll keep on narrowing on some defensive guys, but as I went through this weekend here, Chad, okay, I'm not going to lie. I got a little offensive envy going on right now, and I'm not trying to ignore defense, and who knows? I mean, George Payton will just pick up, a cornerback that falls. I don't know. That's his want to do. But speaking of offensive linemen, just your take real quick on this dude.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, this is what it's built for.
I just like that he pops his head up. I think you'll see that feathery front kind of pop up a little bit as well.
That's Jennings Dunker from Iowa. And I don't know if he can even play, but he kind of stole the show with the offensive lineman.
He can play. I think Iowa's got 3 offensive linemen this year who can play. I usually get an Iowa game every year. I love going out there. I love the wave to the Children's Hospital. I love that whole thing that they do out there. And they breed tight ends and they breed linemen like probably no other school. That dude can play some football. I'm not saying he deserves to be a first-round guy, but he can play some ball, and he can help a football team. And his mullet
would you, tricky question here, but follow me. Would you let Ben Powers go, promote Palchowski, draft a guard in the draft for depth, and perhaps we'll see for the future, restructure McGlinchey, and give yourself a bunch more space and room and move forward and move on from Ben Powers?
I don't know enough about Ben Powers, what they think his recovery was from that injury going in late into this season. I don't have enough information. They think he was 80%. They think he was 100%. Because, to your point, I think there was something to be desired from him. But if he was still recovering and not fully healed, and they expect him to be back to full powers next year, using that word on purpose, I think maybe he's worth it. Because the Broncos aren't in a salary cap crunch. They've got lots of room. So I know GMs love to, contracts and renegotiate a guy and kick the can down the road on certain deals and all that stuff. But the linchpin to answer that entire premise and question you put out there is who is Ben Powers going to be next year? Is he going to be who he was at the end of this season? Then I say yes. Or is he going to be 100% and play better than he played at the end of this season? Then I say no. But I think McGlinchey, to your point, is a guy who's worthy of a contract restructure. And I don't think he necessarily plays up to his deal and the money that he's given. I was in San Francisco when he was there and was part of those battles. I was working with the defensive line group when I was an interim coach. And, guys love to go against him. He's not a great knee bender. He's a very tall dude. You can get underneath his pads. You can take advantage of him both in the run and pass game. And I know this Broncos offensive line is highly rated, but McGlinchey is a guy in critical situations, and you've got a top quality defensive end. There's just a number of ways you can beat him.
We really appreciate everybody watching and pay attention, and especially with our great friends at Journey Spice who bring you this show. And we like to have a lot of fun, and we do. And we'll be back on Thursday, myself with Chad, myself and Coach Sanford on Tuesday, Rachel and I for Cocktail Hour. So it's Monday through Thursday for football, altitude football at 6 p.m. But we'd be remiss not to mention just such a tragic event with Dominique Ponder dying in a single car crash on Baseline Road. And what a heartbreaking story for this young man, his direct family, his CU family, and just everybody in the state of Colorado and those who knew him. I am so sorry, Chad, for this young man to have passed away at the same age that my son is, who's at CU right now. I just want to give you moments as we're near the end here to give your thoughts about Dominique Ponder.
Well, it's always tough when you lose a brother. So no matter when you were a Buff in the past or into the future, you're going to be one of my Buff brothers. So my heart breaks, to your point, for his family and see such a young, promising life, extinguished here. And so for those guys up in Boulder, so many of the lessons we learn in college, are awesome, great, positive ones. But something that I learned with the death of Sal Lanesi, my teammate, and those guys up in Boulder now are going to learn is that life is, it's fragile, and tomorrow is not promised. And so we were able to use Sal's death as a galvanizing moment, not only to grow up as boys into men, but also as a football team. So maybe Coach Prime and those guys up in Boulder will have that same type of experience that we had, where you use this as a teaching moment about life and the ability for you to persevere in difficult circumstances, but also the ability for you guys to come together and support your brothers and do what that guy would have done if he was here. If that guy was here right now, what would he be doing? How hard would he be working? How can you match his level of dedication? So there's so many ways you can use this unfortunate passing for the positive.
And that's why you get the last word, because you're the best at it, my man. We love you. Enjoy your cruise. Have a fantastic time. And where will you be on Thursday?
Thursday, I will
gonna be like in Antigua or like the Dominican, or where are you gonna be?
I will be in Nassau in the Bahamas.
No way. All right.
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll see if we can't catch up with you on Thursday by hook or by crook. We'll figure it out, right?
Yes. I've got beach yoga. I am one of the beach yoga instructors on Thursday morning.
Oh, that is fit. You got to send us a couple pictures. We can throw them up here on the podcast. We can see some beach yoga with Chad. That would be incredible.
I will do my best to get you some pictures. I'll see you Thursday, my friend.
All right. Say hi to Isaac for me, and we'll see everybody later.
I'll see Doc too. All right. See you, man. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Okay.